Good morning, Malacanang Press Corps. Welcome to the Palace Press Briefing of Presidential Spokesperson Harry Roque. Good morning, sir.
Hi, good morning. Let me begin by clarifying that as of yesterday, the Executive Secretary was asked whether or not Rappler can cover Malacanang. The answer given by the Executive Secretary is yes, because they have a pending appeal. But after the Court of Appeals decides, and if the decision of the SEC is sustained, Rappler would have to transfer to FOCAP. But for now, the decision is, while pending appeal, Rappler can cover Malacanang. But you will understand that if the order is sustained, we do not allow FOCAP actually into the Malacanang Press Corps. Good news, 2017 Philippine tourism arrivals. Indeed, it's more fun in the Philippines. The number of international tourist arrivals for 2017 has reached an all-time high at 6,620,908, or an 11% growth from 2016's arrival of 5,967,005. The 6.6 million tourism milestone is an unparalleled growth in the country's tourism industry. We expect this to further improve with the Department of Tourism's agenda to promote new and underrated destinations through an expanded marketing plan, better human resource capacity, and service standards. Another good news, the Department of Agrarian Reform distributed CLOAS to 113 farmers from the province of Tarlac. Now, these farmers have received their certificate of land ownership. Among the recipients are farmer beneficiaries from the municipalities of Anao, Moncado, San Manuel, Victoria, San Jose, Tarlac City, Capas, and Concepcion. Under the continuing agrarian reform program of the Duterte administration, immediate implementation of the department's mandate to acquire and distribute land is prioritized. Proper implementation of post-distribution services is also ensured for the continued support and assistance to farmer beneficiaries. Last piece of good news for the day. Consumer outlook of the Philippines under the leadership of President Duterte remains upbeat, and this is according to the most recent report of BMI Research, the research unit of the Fitch Group company. The sustained positive outlook is driven by our strong economic performance and rapidly rising income brought by record-breaking remittances from OFWs, among others. Data from the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas show overseas Filipinos remittances for 2017 posting an all-time high of $28.1 billion, rising by 4.3% over the $26.9 billion registered in 2016. The Duterte administration will continue its efforts to sustain the country's growth and consumer confidence through its Build, Build, Build program, which will boost infrastructure investment and generate more jobs for all Filipinos. The BSP's Consumer Expectation Survey for Q4 2017, fourth quarter, on the other hand, revealed consumers sustained optimism for the first quarter of 2018, as evidence as confidence index showed only a slight decline to 17.5% from 17.8% in the fourth quarter survey. In the fourth quarter survey of 2017, the overall consumer confidence decreased the overall CI decreased slightly to 9.5% from 10.2% in the third quarter, which means that optimists continued to outnumber the pessimists, but the margin for the fourth quarter was slightly lower relative to that of the third quarter. Okay, questions?
Okay, question, Pia Renada of Rappler. Microphone, please.
Sir, the decision by the OES that we can cover Malacanang, how does this affect the order earlier barring me from covering Malacanang
I
events?
do not know about the order barring you. I have to clarify that the Executive Secretary just issued a verbal statement that pending appeal, you will be able to cover here in Malacanang. And having said that, the worst case scenario, even if you're barred, is you can cover the press briefings because we're televised live.
So I can cover the press briefings but not any events in Malacanang Palace. What's the basis for this order?
As far as I know, and don't get this wrong again, you are still allowed until the appeal is resolved by the Court of Appeals.
But earlier,
If
sir,
it is sustained, then you will have to move to FOCAP, which is the media group for foreign correspondence, because the decision of the SEC is that you are foreign controlled. But while the appeal is pending, you're welcome to cover Malacanang, unless, of course, there's disorderly behavior.
So, sir, because I was just told earlier before entering NEB that I can only cover NEB events but not Malacanang events, meaning I can cover the president's
I see.
speeches.
I do not know about that, but all I know is that when the executive secretary was asked, we will continue to allow you to cover in the Malacanang press corps pending your appeal.
Does that mean that that order from the PSG no longer stands?
I do not know, because I'm telling you, that's what the executive secretary said yesterday.
But
So just inform them that you have a pending appeal and you're not yet a member of FOCAP.
will the OES inform the PSG of this?
I do not know. Maybe you should make representations for the OES to inform the PSG.
But it's an OES order that I can cover, so wouldn't
I
they
don't
want to
think so.
enforce that decision?
I do not think so. The executive secretary yesterday clarified that pending appeal, you can cover.
May we just know more about this order to the PSG? Who issued it?
I suggest you ask for yourself, because
We did, sir,
I
and they
went
did not want
downstairs
to
pick you up
respond.
in case there's a misunderstanding that I will not allow you to cover my press briefing. I went downstairs to pick you up to assure you that for now you can cover my press briefings. But that's the extent of what I can do as spokesperson. At least I can influence who will cover my press briefings, and you're still welcome to cover my press briefings.
Sir, can you find out, sir, who ordered the
I
the
do not
PSG?
know. I think that's asking too much already. No? I was willing to pick you up downstairs to bring you here in case you were not allowed. I will probably pick you up from the gate in time for press coverage, press briefings if you are barred. But that's the full extent of what I can do, because I only am able to control this press briefing.
What do you think this PSG order says about Malacanang's commitment to press freedom?
There's no denial of press freedom. We're televised.
I'm just being barred from covering Malacanang events.
No, you're not being barred because
On no basis.
You're number one. You're here asking questions.
But I cannot enter Malacanang to cover the president's events later.
Well, I do not know about that. That's absolute presidential security guard or security group discretion. But I do not know
Am I a
that there is
security
such
threat?
an order.
Am I a security threat?
I do not know. What I'm telling you is I do not know about the orders that PSG may have given, because I'm not connected with PSG. All I am confirming is you're welcome to cover my press briefings.
Will it be the policy of Malacanang to bar reporters who publish unsavory reports from Malacanang?
No, I don't think the issue is unsavory reporting. The issue is fake news. And pending legislation on who will be penalized for fake news, please understand that you're dealing with institutions that want also to promote the truth.
One last question, Pia.
Sir, the Senate hearing just confirmed all of our documents, the authenticity of our documents, and yet Malacanang calls it fake news. And Bongo himself said in his opening statement that his office endorsed the complaint to DND, and yet you call it fake news. May we know if it's the policy of this administration to call every single report it finds negative, despite vetted documents, as fake news?
Well, we still maintain it's fake news because witnesses already clarified under oath that Bongo did not intervene at any time, and that was your conclusion in this press briefing.
But sir, they also confirmed that the authenticity of documents which showed his involvement.
There is no involvement there.
There is,
Okay,
sir,
Pia,
his
will you give-
office, his
No,
office,
it's okay.
His office.
I'm not here
is
to argue,
implicated.
but I'm here to give you the palace position. You can argue all you want, but the documents prove that there was a complaint. It was referred for attention by the PMS, and that's the full extent of what you claim to be intervention. Your question to me was, what do you do about the policy of a secretary intervening in favor of a contract?
Yes,
That
sir,
was
because
it.
was
Your
a-
intervention contemplates favoring one company over another. But it was very clear in the palace hearing that there was a complaint. It was referred to the line agency because that is what we do. That's not intervention to favor a company.
So, sir, back to my question. Will it be
Your
the policy
question
of
is,
Malacanang?
you make conclusions without facts. I'm
No.
sorry.
No, sir.
You are resorting to editorializing stories when in the first place you should be sticking it out to facts. What did former Fork Mercado said? At no point did SAPGO intervene in the contract. And yet, you're still insisting that there was intervention on the basis of documents. The document did not emanate from Bongo. Even the note says it did not emanate from Bongo.
But sir, the documents confirm that his office arranged the meeting.
The document confirmed that they acted upon a complaint. Do you want?
Under his
do you want?
office.
Wait a minute. Do you really want government to ignore official communication sent to it? Yes or no? My time to ask the questions. Did you want government to ignore that document?
We're only trying to report the
that's
fact of
it.
the intervention.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're already editorializing. You're already making a judgment that we were, or at least that SAPGO was intervening on behalf of a company. It was clear from the testimony. There was this communication which had to be referred, and you already called that intervention. You know, your story failed when the most interested party in this controversy, former FOIC Mercado, belied your claim of intervention. That's why Malacanang said fake news. And we leave it to the people to judge who was telling the truth.
Next
Let's leave
question.
that point already.
Rose
Because I can
Novenari
argue
of
till
Hataw.
Kingdom Come, and we would still have the same conclusion, fake news from Rappler.
Sir, good morning, sir. Sir, sa speech po kagabi ni Presidente, kinonfirm po niya na yung paghahangad po ng Norwegian ambassador na ituloy po yung peace talks. At sabi po ng Presidente, kukonsultahin muna niya yung military. Sir, sa nangyari pong pag-ambush ng NPA sa Antipolo City sa Special Action Force troopers, sa palagay po ba ninyo o may pag-asa po ba kayang mabuhay muli yung peace talks?
Ngayon po malabo. Ayun na naman nga po no? Habang sila ay nagsasabi na nais nilang ipagpatuloy ang usaping kapayapaan, patuloy po ang paggamit nila ng dahas. No? So sa akin po, bagamat ninanais natin ang kapayapaan, wala po atang katuturan na makipag-usap ng kapayapaan kung sila po talaga ay hindi interested sa tunay na kapayapaan.
Ay, good morning, sir.
Hi,
Ulit.
good morning.
Follow up, sir. Sir, halimbawa pong iba po yung yung panukala po ng military, halimbawa lang po. Mananatili po kaya yung ganyang paninindigan ninyo? Halimbawa po, i-recommenda rin ng military na bigyan po ng another chance yung peace talks.
Ang presidente po nakikinig naman sa militar. So kung magre-recommend po ang militar na ituloy, tingin ko naman ay pakikinggan niya ng ating presidente. Pero wala pong ganyang rekomendasyon ngayon.
Sa ngayon po. Okay,
Sa ngayon
thank
po.
you.
Leila Solavera, Inquirer.
Sir, good morning. Sir, for the record, what are the grounds that Malacanang can cite to bar an accredited reporting from covering the events of the President?
Let me be very clear, no? Number one, the accreditation is not a license to practice your profession. Everyone can report on what is going on in Malacanang, and that is why we televise our press briefings. In fact, my trend has been once a week, I go out of town for my press briefings because I believe that the rest of the country should be able to participate in these briefings, and Malacanang reporters are allowed to send in their questions. There is absolutely no infringement of press freedom when I go out of town and Malacanang press can still send in their questions. FOCAP is able to exercise freedom of the press, but they're not allowed to cover because we don't allow foreigners, as a matter of course, access on a regular, well, at least the foreign reporters, no, unimpeded access to the palace, no. So the accreditation really is for security purposes, no, but no one is prevented from covering. You can cover, except that we are in the most secure premises in this country, called Malacanang Palace, and for good reasons. So admission to it is really not a matter of right. If need be, we will conduct our press briefings elsewhere if there are reasons for this, or if need be, we will do it on remote basis. But we will never prevent any media organization from practicing their profession. And that is our firm commitment.
So my question
We
is,
will never curtail the exercise of freedom of the press, except that you have to understand access to palace is not part of freedom of the press. You can report through other means if need be, under extreme circumstances.
sir, my question is yung grounds for barring any reporter from covering, security lang yung...
Hindi lang yon, because as a matter of course, we don't allow FOCAP to cover. We don't allow FOCAP into the palace. And to cover these press briefings. Hindi sila allowed na mag-cover. They don't have ready access to the palace. They don't have accreditation.
Per event basis, sir, meron.
Yes, oo. Per event basis, yes, when they're specifically invited. But they're not part of the Malacanang Press Corps. Yes. Bombo is not MOPC. Oh, not.
Yeah, but he's the president.
Akala ko Bombo Radyo.
Any follow-up question?
Si Raymond.
Eh, di ba you're the one saying that that the MOPC should not be allowed in? That's what I understand when I first came in. That's one of the things that MOPC, that Malacanang Press Corps insisted, exclusivity in coverage. Di ba kaya nga nabubuisit din kayo sa mga vloggers minsan dahil inuunahan kayo? I had a meeting with the MPC officials at the beginning of my term.
So, sir, sorry, ulitin ko lang. So, security and what, sir, yung reasons for...
Security and the fact that supposedly there's exclusive coverage only for members of the Malacanang Press Corps here. And that's something that you've been insisting.
I don't know about that. Pero, sir, so, para lang malinaw, just in case, any of us are barred from covering, yun lang yung... those are the only reasons we can expect to be given to us.
Plus the fact that, yun na nga, no? Foreign correspondents, as a matter of course, are not allowed to be part of the Malacanang Press Corps and not allowed to cover in the same manner that members of the Malacanang Press Corps are allowed.
Sir, if an official dislikes you or doesn't want to see your face, hindi valid reason yun.
Not valid reason, but in the case of Rappler, there was a decision that they're controlled by foreigners. And that's why, if the decision is upheld, they have to move to FOCAP.
But that's not
They have the
security.
option. They can go FOCAP or they can get accreditation as bloggers. But for now, they stay because the appeal is pending.
So we just wanted to be clear on the grounds.
Yes, it's not a ground because someone dislikes you. No. Rappler's case is different. There's an actual SEC decision saying that they're controlled by foreigners.
Okay, Rose,
Diba?
follow-up.
So they're willing. I mean, we're able and willing to work with them as members of FOCAP if the decision is sustained by the Court of Appeals.
Hi, sir. Good morning
Bong,
ulit.
yan, Bong, do we allow FOCAP to attend Malacanang Press Corps?
Microphone, please.
Per event basis.
As far as the rules and the engagement, sir, sa press briefing, they are allowed to cover, but usually they do not come here unless there is an interest for them. For example, the DFA and foreign visitors who are here at the press briefing. And inside, on a case-to-case, on an event-based coverage. So they would ask the MARO to be accredited for that
Particular
specific event.
So
Yeah.
if the decision of the SEC is upheld, that Rappler is controlled by foreigners, then they can cover as members of FOCAP. Whatever FOCAP can cover, Rappler can cover. Again, a second alternative is for them to seek accreditation from Mocha Uson, but I don't think they would want that. But those are the facts. And it's not because they are disliked, it's because the SEC said they're controlled by foreigners.
Ay, sir, good morning po ulit. Sir, paano po natin i-reconcile yung paninindigan ng Pangulo na sa atin yung Benham rice, yung Philippine rice, at the same time may biro po siya na parang pwedeng maging probinsya ng China yung
Ay,
Pilipinas.
malinaw naman po. Hindi lang Benham rice ang sinabi niyang atin. Sinabi niya pati yung West Philippine Sea na yan, atin yan. So yung biro niya is, it's just to emphasize na it's ours, but we're one with China. Take it in that spirit. But he was very firm that we have title over the disputed area in West Philippine Sea and we have rights in Benham, exclusive rights in Philippine rice. Let's not call it Benham, magagalit ang presidente. Tinapon na niya yung pangalan na binigay ng mga Amerikano.
Sir, ano ba yung binabanggit niya kagabi na yung for show lang?
Eh, ang interpretasyon ko doon, dahil pareho naman tayo nandun, is pakitang gilas lang naman yon. We're appealing to domestic constituents, no? So syempre ngayon, pinapakita talaga natin, walang dispute dito. Hayaan nyo na muna ang Philippine rice para sa Pilipino. Nagayang ganun din ang ginagawa ng mga Chino paminsan-minsan na pinahahatig ang mensahe dahil sa mga disputed area na sa kanila daw di umano yun. No? Pero it's really pakita ang gilas, pero the Philippine President was very clear. We will not give away even a single inch of territory.
Thank you, sir.
Joseph Morong, GMA7. Please pass the microphone, please.
I'll shout back press freedom too.
Sir, what is not being said is that when they do transfer to FOCAP, that means that Malacanang is going to revoke Rappler's accreditation as a member of the MPC once it becomes final.
Because we have no choice. The SEC has ruled they're controlled by foreigners. If upheld by the CA, it becomes final. So we cannot treat Rappler as a domestic mass media corporation because to do so would be to violate the Constitution. So as a foreign-controlled entity, they can certainly report under FOCAP. So we're not even curtailing their freedom of the press because FOCAP, foreigners can report from the Philippines.
Any more questions related to that? Yes? Other issues? Okay.
Sir, the President last night parang downplayed the Chinese naming of undersea features in the Philippine rice. What does this mean for our objection to the Chinese names given to
We
them?
would still object to it, but as I said, the naming is independent from either claiming title or claiming rights in a certain area. It's just established procedure in a scientific body, that gives preference, naming rights to countries that have discovered features. But even that, we have said we will resort to giving them Philippine names in the same way that we have done away with the name given by the Americans to the area, which is Benham rice. It's now known as Philippine rice.
Sir, before we made the objection, does our objection have the President's approval?
Yes, of course.
Kasi based on his statements last night, parang sinasabi niya, of course they'd give Chinese names, alangan namang German.
Yeah, but
Seems to be
I've said the same
minimized.
thing. I assure you, everything I say here is reflective of the President's position. And we do so because we do a lot of work to make sure we're in sync with the President's position.
Sir, isa pa, sinabi din po ni President that the military bases of China won't be used against us, but against the U.S. Does this mean we will no longer protest their militarization of
We have protested. That's what I have emphasized before.
before, yes? But
Shenanigans have claimed we have not protested. We have. And I'd like to underscore the fact then that when the President came into power, they already reclaimed and they were really going to be used for military purposes already. Stop looking at us, please. We're trying to make do with the best options that we have. And right now, it's to acknowledge the fact that under the past administration, these islands were reclaimed and intended to be used for whatever purpose they're being used now. And yet, we have to move on. And the way forward, as the President has repeatedly said, is to prevent China from making further reclamations because they could very well do it if they wanted to.
Sir, but if there will be continued militarization activities in islands China holds,
The militarization may be between the United States and China. But because we have adopted an independent foreign policy, I suppose that will also be policy of neutrality. They can go to war. We will not be dragged into a war between them if need be. We will protect the national interests by being consistent with our obligation under the UN Charter. We will not resort to the use of force. We will not allow our territory to be used in a manner inconsistent with international law.
but will we protest if
Which one?
they continue militarization?
That's for, we have protested.
Yes, sir, but if they continue, after we protested and they continue, will we protest again?
Well, the thing is, I do not know if we have to protest on a daily basis, as I've said, but we have protested what we perceive as militarization, constituting a threat to peace and security in the region. That has been protested.
Ay, sir, when daw yung protest and what has that
I
protest
should really
actually?
give you the copies of the protest. The DFA just requested for the bilateral talks to conclude. Now that it's been concluded, I will request again. And remind me, please, Laila, text me so I can give you the specific instances when we protested, okay? Anyway, if they don't give it, file it under FOI.
Related issue? Related
yes.
issue? Okay.
Sir, yesterday, si Presidente said, well, in jest, no, na China, okay lang naman i-declare tayo na province.
Tinanong
Yeah,
ko
pero pag may mga ganun si Presidente, sir,
that's in jest because he started in a very serious tone that we have title over West Philippine Sea and we have rights over Philippine rights.
but shouldn't he be a little more careful with pronouncements like that? Yeah.
You know, the president is the president, and when he was serious at the beginning of the speech and when he was very clear, I think he can jest in a later part of the speech.
Dexter Ganibe, DZMM.
Sir, good morning. May binanggit si Pangulong Duterte nung pinag-uusapan yung militarization sa South China Sea o sa West Philippine Sea. Basahin ko lang yung transcript ng kanyang speech. Sabi niya, let us be clear on this. We are on good terms with America, special terms, military alliance. That's why we cannot enter into another military alliance with other country. And then sa mga sumunod na paragraph, sinabi niya, Philippines is now veering towards China. But we maintain good relations. We have RPUS Pact, defense deal. We will honor it. We will honor it and I don't know when. Sabi niya. But if we go to war, everything wilts. Lalaya tayo. Lalaya ito lahat. Ano bang pinapahiwatig niya, sir? Yung RPUS military deal, lalaya tayo doon? Kasi may mga binabanggit na siya na parang...
I think the context is we're in good terms with both the United States and China. So it is not to our national interest to go to war, which is what some people want, no? To assert what they perceive to be our weak position on China. They want to assert our national sovereignty, I guess, through military means, no? But the president is saying, we don't have to do that. We're in good terms with the Americans. We're in excellent terms with the Chinese. If there's conflict between them, so be it. But we will not take part in it.
Oh, pero binabagit niya yung ating military alliance dun sa US ang siyang...
Of course,
parang nakatali tayo dun para hindi tayo makapag-alliance.
the president has not taken steps to withdraw from existing military alliances with the United States. And I can think of two, the Mutual Defense Pact, the Visiting Forces Agreement, and the third one, what is the third one? The one that I also sued against it, but it's still there. No, the third one is the MDF. No, that's the Mutual Defense Treaty, and the second one is the VFA, and the third one is the prepositioning of EDCA and the EDCA, no? And the EDCA, according to the Supreme Court, and the VFA, anyway, are based on the MDT, the Mutual Defense Treaty. But the Mutual Defense Treaty is they're obligated to come to our assistance when we're attacked by a foreign power in our metropolitan area or in the Pacific, no?
Hindi ba niya pinapahiwatig, sir, na parang gustong kumalas doon sa mga treaties?
Diba? He reiterated that we're not withdrawing from any of these defense treaties with the United States. So the United States has no reason to be concerned that we will be in default of our treaty obligations. He has reiterated we remain committed to these treaty obligations. At the same time, as a matter of foreign policy, we're in excellent friendly relations with China, which has resulted in tangible results, including terms of military assistance at the time when he needed the assistance.
Thank you.
One last question. Yes, sir.
Sir, may pinapatanong lang po. Regarding po dun sa mga naisipasarang mga island ni President, kabilang daw po ba dito yung sa Panglao?
Hindi ko pa po naririnig yan. Ang narinig ko lang is Boracay. Pero ang sinasabi nga niya, yung karanasan ng Boracay ay magsilbing mensahe rin sa ibang mga lokal na pamahalaan sa ibang mga isla na pangalagaan nila po ang kalikasan dito sa mga islang ito.
Sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir Bernadette po from Business Mirror. Sir, the President said last night, and I quote, and if you look at it very closely, it would appear that there's really a divide. The great divide now, ideological, but we are all in the capitalist state, so the war now is on trade, not territory. That's why I said geopolitics is always changing. So by mentioning that war is now on trade, not territory, is that is the President saying that Philippines is now more concerned with trade?
The Philippines, the emphasis of the entire community of nations now is towards trade. So that's exactly what the President said. So I don't know what the question is.
Is the Philippines now more concerned with trade and not on territorial dispute?
We are, the whole nation, not just the Philippines, is concerned about uplifting the economic well-being of its people through trade and investments. Of course, territorial issues are still important. Of course, we will defend our territory. But in the formulation of foreign policy, we always put as a cornerstone the fact that we need to improve the economic plight of our people rather than waging war over territories.
Sir, another question po. On the appointment of, on the replacement of NEDA directors po, I want to know what are the reasons behind it po, sir.
I have no idea. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also,
But I did notice that there were quite a number of NEDA appointments
Yes, yes.
announced today by my office.
and the promotion of Vismonte as DTI USEC replacing Teodoro Pasco and the appointment of DTI ASEC Pacheco. You don't know the reason behind it, sir.
It's a presidential prerogative.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Raymond Tenaza, Bombo Radyo, Vivian Gulia, ABS-CBN, Adan Joseph.
Hi, sir. Sir, can you confirm the reported confirmation of the Kuwaiti Deputy Foreign Minister that the President already accepted the invitation, or the Kuwaiti Emir or the President already accepted the invitation of the Emir of Kuwait to...
I have no information that the President has accepted the invitation. I know there is an invitation extended, but I know ministerial talks are ongoing, and the ministerial talks have to do with bilateral agreement, no? Safeguarding the plight of our overseas workers in Kuwait. But I do not have information if the invitation has been accepted, and this is as of yesterday, around 5:30 p.m. when I had a conversation with both Secretary Alan Cayetano and the Secretary of Labor.
So the conditions laid down by SFA Cayetano that the President will only go to
No,
Kuwait...
that's not really a condition.
No,
But I
unless there is a
think-
reform.
Okay, the language used was they prefer that if there's a visit, there would be already a bilateral agreement in place. But that's not made into a condition. It's a preference.
Thank you, sir.
Vivian.
Secretary, the President yesterday said that the ban on the deployment to Kuwait continues and it will extend to other countries. What countries are he referring to?
Well, he was referring to countries that would treat Filipinos without due regard to their humanity. But there's no specific country in mind yet.
Joseph, last question.
Sir, does the palace support, or what does the palace think of the suggestion from the Senate hearing yesterday that the government just shell out more money in order to buy the preferred supplier of the Navy, something which Lorenzana and Mercado support?
I know that Secretary Jokno has expressed the view that it cannot be done. No, it cannot be done. It's not so much walang pera, but it's the fact that there was a bidding conducted and there was a budget given, and that if you were to increase the budget, you're in fact changing the nature of the contract, no, and violating really the conditions of the bidding.
So
But of
Malacanang's
course,
position?
anything, if approved by the President, I understand it can be done, but Secretary Jono has said that this is not pursuant to government rules and regulations on public bidding.
Sir, reaction lang, yung Senate has junked the ethics complaint against Senator De Lima.
I think it's because of lack of jurisdiction. The acts attributed were acts committed before her assumption into the office of a Senator of the Republic.
Okay, no
She
more questions?
allegedly prevented Dayan from, but it was lack of jurisdiction. I only read news reports about it. I haven't read the decision of the Senate, but it said it lacked jurisdiction. And I know that acts attributed must be acts committed when already in office as a senator. And so it's without prejudice too, no? According to the Senate, it was also without prejudice.
Okay, no more questions. Thank you very much. Yeah.
One last question.
Okay, Azer.
Azer Parocha from PNA, sir. Sir, the President's CONCOM convened its first session yesterday at the PICC. There were at least 19 members present. CJ Puno and SP Pimentel say that the vacant slot should be filled immediately. They want more representatives from the women's sector and indigenous peoples. They also want to invite ordinary people and oppositors to join the meetings. Can we have your reaction, sir?
What's the question?
That the vacant slot should be filled immediately because there are only 19.
Of course, we would want it filled also as soon as possible because they have limited mandate. The recommendation was heard, but as I said, appointment is a prerogative of the President.
Do you also agree, sir, that they should invite ordinary Filipino citizens?
Of course, that's part of their mandate.
And oppositors?
Of course, they should be holding public hearings on proposed revisions to the Constitution. I think they will do that as a matter of course.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Malacanang press corps. Thank you, Secretary Harry Roque.
I will have a press briefing in Iloilo, and you're welcome to text your questions. Hindi muna nagagalit. Well, anyway, we'll see you on Thursday in Iloilo.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Back to the main studio of PTV4 and Radyo Pilipinas.